Been a crazy morning. We've been rushing around. We just set all this up within 30 minutes. Drove up to Moncton. Brandon and I were like buzzing off coffee, and now let's go.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Jenny and Lenny. So you two are absolutely killer agents up here in Moncton, and also part of the Wolfpack. I think a great spot to start would be like starting with the Wolfpack, or maybe even just do a quick introduction of your guys' selves, however you want to do that, just real quick.
Yeah. We're so happy. We're really close with Brandon and I are really close with Jenny and Lenny.
Yeah.
Now recently, and Lenny's been an agent for 18 years, top producer. Jenny moved from Ontario 3 years ago, and she is on fire. She's been an icon agent at EXP 2 years in a row.
Going on my third.
Going on her third.
The third.
And a huge mentor to a lot of people. So it's an absolute pleasure for Brandon and I to be in the same room with these two. So this is
a ton of experience.
It's awesome, and this is what we're all about. So this is Jenny.
Yeah, no, excited to be here. Excited to be with you guys. So I've actually been in New Brunswick for 5 years, an agent for 3 years. And I was not with EXP at the beginning of my career. I joined 6 months into being a new agent, and I was told, you're too new to be going to a place like EXP, and I said, watch me, and I'm glad I did. Awesome place to be at, and again, the beauty about it is that we're very supportive within our own organization, which I think is very hard to find in real estate.
I didn't know you didn't start with EXP.
Yeah, I didn't know that
No,
either.
I was
Where-
not
where
with
did you
Remax.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
And Lenny, you were at you were at Remax as well, right?
Yeah, I started off with Exit Realty. I did Royal LePage, and then was at Remax for 10 years, and I switched over to EXP last fall.
What do you guys like? I guess this question is Brandon, if we were at EXP, I think it'd be different, but what do you guys like the most? I guess, Lenny, you have the most experience, so being with both Exit and Remax, now at EXP, but being in the Wolfpack, what do you see different? What do you like most about that, the change in here?
So before we get started with that, I just want to put one thing very clear, is that I've been a realtor for 18 years. The last 10 years, I've coached over 50 hockey teams,
Wow.
youth sports team. My kids became a very big priority for me. So I haven't been top producing over the last 10 years. I've been producing very averagely. Before that, yes, certified legit top producer. And this year, now that my kids don't need me or don't want to hang with me anymore,
Too cool.
I will become a top producer again. So
Love it.
all the knowledge is there, and I'm ready to go. But to answer your question, now to be clear, all the agencies are pretty standard, and they pretty much all offer more or less the same thing. But where EXP was very different is where I was at in my career, I needed leadership. I needed to be able to share with like-minded people. And unfortunately, in some of the brokerages, there's just like a closed-minded atmosphere where they think if they share something that you're going to steal their secrets. It's like they have this cookbook and they don't want to share a single recipe, and they don't want you know where you shop for the ingredients, and heaven forbid, right? So with EXP, or with this group in particular, again, EXP is a great brokerage, but the group that we're in right now is the real magic of what's going on for me, because I have everybody at my disposal to call anytime I want, and the exchange of ideas, whether it's me helping with leadership, or it's Brandon helping me with YouTube, Jenny helping me with my style, which I have little thereof, or talking with you and running some ideas on some niching stuff.
Right.
It's just an incredible exchange of value, and every single one of us wants to see each other succeed.
Absolutely.
And I think
That's the magic.
I think it comes down to like culture of the Wolfpack, right? And it's like it's honestly harnessed by what Mike and Connor really started to create, and it just shows you how proper leadership in organizations disseminates and creates other leaders. It's like I was just listening to an audiobook, and I was actually listening to One More by Ed Milet, and he was talking about how good leaders create other leaders, and that's the organization that we're in, right? So that's the reason we want to share. We want to create other leaders too, and it's like that's how you do it, is through sharing. And real estate's a weird industry where
Lonely.
it's lonely, and people, like you said, Lenny, people hold cards close to them, and everybody thinks that business is being stolen from them if they share things. But it's like, that's all mindset.
So on that, so funny. It's not really funny, but kind of is to me. So because it's exactly what we're talking about. Yesterday, I was with a lady, and her father has been a realtor for years, and she was saying you should talk to Evan and get him to help you with a couple things and this and that. And he told her he would never do that because Evan's a competition. And I was like, no, but that is the mindset of what we were all just talking about. It's not true at all. I'm like an open book. I just put a YouTube video yesterday of me doing live cold calls. Exactly what I say, exactly what I use, how to do it, where I learned how to do it. Like, there's no secrets at all.
Yeah, that was a super cool video too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, thank you, because it was the first one I ever did.
There. Like nobody's doing anything like that. Like I love seeing people take those unique. Like I never even thought about doing a cold call video, but you've been kind of like in that sphere of and in that routine of doing it. And I know you've been calling me, going like, "You cold calling yet?" And I'm like, "I'm just still getting my CRM dialed in right now. Like it's in the plan, but I'm not there yet. But you're right on it." And then even showed us on the last.
That was fun. I was nervous as hell. I was like,
And you
"Shit,
locked that one
I
in
guess
there.
we're doing it." You called me out, guys.
Dude, you locked that. Well, you wanted to do it, so I knew that you had it in you to do it, and I knew you deep down actually wanted to. So I was like, Evan, you got to get at least one.
That was
call in.
wicked, eh?
It was wicked.
It turned
cool.
out good.
That was really fun.
Ashley was fired up. She
Well,
couldn't
you
believe
motivated
it.
her,
And
that's
then
for sure.
We in our last calls, we have our own call every Thursday with just the Wolfpack in New Brunswick. We're like global. We got people in Hawaii, the States, like everywhere, which is super cool. But last week we were talking about holding each other accountable for things, and Jenny and Lenny, you guys were gonna really start dialing in the door knocking, right?
Not Lenny. Lenny said that you could pull his nails up, but he was not going to do door knocking. I was the one that
Cold
said
calling.
Cold call.
That's
No,
right.
cold calling. Your
Sorry.
That's why you got the door
Yes,
knockers,
sorry.
right?
my
Yeah.
mistake.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to do cold calling, but the
that's
door
it.
knocking. And then now on our call this Thursday, I'm going to be calling you out, saying, "Did you do it yet? Did you do it yet?" And if you didn't, I'm going to give you shit. So that's what we're all about, seeing each other do good. But it's not just within here; it's the whole group. How
And
many
the
agents?
accountability thing, that was something I read from the 12-week year, which is another incredible book. And each portion of the chapters on like things that you should be doing for the 12-week year, which was actually really cool. I think Mike Sherrard recommended reading that. Have you read that one, Jenny?
No, not that
Lenny?
one, no.
Really cool book.
What is it? The
Highly
12-week
recommended.
year?
Yeah, it's called the 12-week year. So pretty well, like, it just talks about how most people have a year in mind and things they want to get done in a year, but that whole timeline leaves a lot of kind of like BS room for like,
Yes.
oh, okay, I still have 7 months to accomplish my goal, where it's like if you actually just set a goal, like what would be your year goal, and try to accomplish that in 12 weeks. And then you get much more intentional with your time, and then treat every 12 weeks, which is pretty well every 3 months, every quarter, like a year. And then it even talks about like
That's
taking a
unreal.
little bit of a three day break at the very end, where it's like, okay, end of year, celebrate, recollab, or like reconcile what you want to do, what you've accomplished, and now where you need to go to. And it just makes it like each moment seem to count a lot more.
Yeah.
I love the book.
That's
And then so
awesome.
in that book
Wow.
they talk about the accountability meetings,
Yeah.
and that's where I got that idea. And it was like I was like, you know what, that is nice, because I'm much more accountable to other people for some reason. It's easy
Absolutely.
because when there's accountability from somebody else, that's kind of why I share a lot of stuff on social media too. It's
Yeah.
like just to put it out there, because now it's harder to BS, and it's more something I want to do.
Yeah,
Do you find it hard? Like, do you guys find it hard? Social media's hard.
Social media is
It's a
hard.
lot of work.
It starts to become a habit, I find, just like everything, right? The more you do it, the easier
Yeah.
it gets. And when you don't do it, you're like, hey, I didn't do it, right? Time
Yeah.
to.
You
So
start to
yeah,
feel
like
guilty.
everything. Keep doing it, keep doing
I
it.
actually have time. I have time specifically blocked off right now for social media posting.
Yeah.
Like it's like before, I just thought that was a little bit of a nicety. Like, oh, when I have time, I'll post.
No.
But like,
No.
I'm like considering that a main source of lead generation right now.
Yeah.
And lead generation is something that we should be setting time, just like you're setting time for the cold calling. Like it's like so I've been taking it so seriously this year, and I'm actually finding some momentum happening. And
Yeah.
Evan and I have talked about this, like universal feedback
Yeah.
Yep.
that we'll end up getting, and I'm sure you guys are the same too. Like when you're doing something, you get universal feedback to know whether it's working or not, right?
Absolutely. And again, it's a consistency. You can't expect instant gratification, especially in social media, right? It comes, but you just got to keep doing it, keep showing up. With
Right.
your podcast, guys, is something that we now look forward to, right? Because now
Yeah.
I know that it's a consistent thing. It's not like you did it once and then
Right.
came back 3 months later. No, you're doing this weekly, right? So that's
Right.
awesome, and people get used to that.
I love it. We're having a good time. And I'll tell you, before I joined, so I started with Roll the Page as well, Lenny. And then I went to KW because EXP wasn't in New Brunswick at the time. But I would not be doing this.
No.
I probably wouldn't be on camera. I wouldn't be consistent. I'd be an average agent. And I probably still would be an average agent. I still feel like I am. But if we weren't in the Wolfpack, because we get pushed in the training. And are you guys all in Atlas? Both you guys? That's
Love it.
crazy.
Love
Like,
Atlas.
Every
like
Monday.
that is wild. I'm really looking forward to this community we're in Atlas. There's an event in Nashville in September. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's September. Yeah.
That I can't wait to see that speaker list.
Yeah. They have
I'm
access to
really
social
looking
media.
forward to that because I think that's going to be totally different, a whole different crew, and you never know what's going to come of that.
And
You
again,
could-
it's surrounding yourself by go-getters, right?
And all
Because
different
that's-
agents
yeah,
from different
absolutely.
companies.
Meeting different people, the
Yeah.
networking that happens at those events, as you guys know, is definitely worth it.
100%. And it's like, because when you're looking at these events, like we pay for it out of pocket, right? It's not like it's paid
Yeah.
for us. So one thing that I was kind of like figuring out, and for the longest time, and I want to say this again because this is super important, but for the longest time, I thought that I was like, I don't have the money to spend on going to this event. Because I was like, I need to invest this back into my business, but I didn't realize that going to that event was actually probably the best investment that I could have made into my business because it's actually making the investment into yourself. And you
Right.
cannot put an ROI, a return on investment, on what's going to happen when you go and meet other highly motivated people. Like, get surrounded by people that could just say the one thing that's going to inspire you, the one thing that's going to make the difference, just the one little thing that's going to click and go, oh,
If we
and
had
it's going
no
to put you on the right path.
If we hadn't went to Vancouver, we would never met Jenny.
That
I
is
guarantee
right.
you, we wouldn't be here today.
That is
Right.
correct.
Right.
That is
So
I
right.
could
that's just
promise
it.
we wouldn't have been.
Yep, yep. 'Cause
And then
that's
we
it.
went
would've
there
been
and we
on
were
that
like-
call with Ricky Carruth. We would have
Yeah.
been on that call. We wouldn't
That
be
was
doing
wild.
this right now.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If we didn't go to Vancouver, I'll tell you, the first time I met Jenny, we were like, okay, we need to start. By the end of that, we were like, we need to start
Yeah, doing something together.
doing something
yeah.
together, and we
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
And before I talk about stuff and never do it.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I'm excited for what the future is to hold for all of us, and to see Lenny be a top producer again.
Oh,
I'm really
yeah.
excited for that. And you're never gonna do it unless you tell yourself that.
And
So I
that's
love
the
it
big-
that you told yourself that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And you talk about when you were at KW, and I'll be clear, like every single brokerage has their highlights and their lows, right? And I view brokerages as shoes of different sizes and different styles. And some people will always be KW because it's their perfect fit. EXP, Exit, or Royal LePage will not be for them. They love what they're doing there, and that's great. Of course, we're passionate about where we're at because it's the right fit for us. And what I encourage agents to do is, at some points, I felt trapped where I was in certain brokerages because, heaven forbid, if I moved, what are they going to say? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they say. And I'm not that important that they're going to talk about me for any length of time anyways. So to any agents considering a move to EXP or from one brokerage to another, because, you know, if you're in Camelton, let's say, and you want to go work for Remax, but you're stuck at Royal LePage, you know, always do what's in your best interests.
Absolutely.
And obviously, you pay your own bills. You pay your own bills. I pay my bills. She pays her own bills. And at the end of the day, it's if one brokerage has better tools for you to go out and succeed, that's where you need to go and make no excuses about it. The biggest thing with this group here, again, is the support and the innovations and the tech. I know a bunch of agents that would never, ever do this at 49 years old like I am, right? And instead of saying, Lenny, good on you for being there, they'll crap on the idea.
Yep.
Because they don't have the balls to do it, or don't have the ambition to do it, or it's just not in their DNA.
Right.
And we ran into that where, you know, and we ran into that where certain brokerages are really trying to crap on what EXP's doing because they don't understand it. and they're seeing a swell of agents come over, and because of that, they're trying to, downgrade EXP. But here's the question I have. Let's say if you own ABC brokerages, and the only way you can retain your people is by putting another one down, if you have to step on somebody's head to make yourself feel taller, you're not taller.
No.
And if those people think that the general population doesn't know and the community of realtors doesn't know, they've got their head in the sand. And
Absolutely.
that's a big thing. When we sell EXP or when we talk about EXP, we never bash any other brokerages. We just talk about what we do
Right.
and what we bring to the table. And if a broker or management from brokers, because I had that happen to me, where I had a manager sit there and go through my numbers while I was trying to encourage somebody to come over here. But you know what? Let me tell you what those numbers don't say. They don't talk about my leadership. They don't talk about my community involvement. They don't talk about the hundreds of kids I've helped. It doesn't talk about every single year how I raise $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for single parents.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy had the balls to talk about me,
Right.
like I was less than, when I know
Right.
this person does jack shit for the community
Right.
in general,
Right.
but he had the balls to talk about me. So that's where sometimes it gets interesting with brokers, because they're just trying to bite up the crumbs and retain what they have. And when they see a technology like EXP and the groups come along, instead of innovating themselves, they choose to just try to downgrade the innovations that are happening.
True.
Yeah,
Man,
and I
that
love
was
what
really
you, Lenny. I love what you just said there.
You just went through it.
About the about being measured by numbers, where it's like a lot of people I find, and this could almost be a stem of where anxiety and depression comes from, because it's like if you're always, I read a really cool quote, and it's like, numbers are never ending. So if that's what you're chasing for happiness, it's like then you're probably never gonna find it. It's like you need to find happiness, and I love what you just said there about like about coaching teams and the things you've done with the community, and it's like there's other ways to measure success, and everybody has it individually to themselves. And it's like that story that you told me about the guy who just wanted to raise $2,
Mm-hmm.
and that was his level of success. And it's like how do you judge anybody who measures themselves that way? If that's what they want to have for success, you can't judge anybody.
Success is many different things.
Many different things. It's
yeah.
like for me, it's like, am I in shape? Am I being a good person to
Right.
those around me? Am I interacting well with people? Like all that's more important than the amount of money that you're making. And it's like so many people talk about this. There's
Kevin Hart just talked about this. I just read on one of his podcasts.
Any
He was
rich
just
and successful
yeah.
person says like the money doesn't make you happy.
Money's
That's
the-
not where the success is. There's a lot of rich depressed people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same with like, and when people talk about your numbers, like, I hate that because also they don't know. They might look at your real estate numbers, but you might own 10 properties. You might have flipped 7 houses,
Right.
not including your community involvement and all the kids you helped and the hockey teams you coached. You know what I mean?
Right.
So for somebody to talk about your numbers and shit on you like that is just, there's something going on with them for them to have to do that,
Yeah.
right?
It's like an insecurity thing, or it's
Yeah.
most times it's people projecting themselves onto you. They're projecting something onto you. It's like they're not maybe in a good spot, or somehow what you're doing is shining a light onto them in a way that they don't like. And it's really weird that people get upset about stuff like that or even focus on that. Like you said, at the end of the day, our brokerage focuses on us. Like where it's like, how can we help each other out? It's like one thing I was saying, I was talking to a broker, Shauna, and just saying how like even in our group here in New Brunswick, like the only time we talked about another agent, it was when we were trying to figure out how are they so successful? Let's notice their success and appreciate it and try to figure out like how are they doing that? And it's like we weren't at all, there was no negativity in it. It's like how are they doing that? And that's the best way to look at it. It's like, hey, this person here is killing it.
Yeah.
What can we find in that we can use? And it's like that's how people should be talked about. Jenny, I want to ask you. So when you came from Remax, you said, right, over to EXP, and you've also helped a lot of agents transfer over to EXP as well. Like, do you find anything like we're talking about like just brokerages? Like, how do you find that transition? Like, how do you find the difference of coming to EXP?
Oh, night and day, exactly what you said and exactly what you guys have been saying. The successful agents at most brokerages want to keep all those secrets to themselves. They're afraid of that competition. The difference with EXP, and again, mindset, and I believe that mindset also calls on abundance. We're not afraid to share what's working for us, to the point that EXP trains all these agents from using these top producers so they can share what works for them, so it can motivate and it can give the tools to those agents that are just starting, right? And again, having that mindset, in my opinion, is what caused that abundance as well, right? Because you're in this state where you want to share, and believe it or not, I don't know, I think that positivity comes back to you, right?
100%.
But yeah, I remember when I first started, there was no way that I would be asking one of those top producers, my past brokerage, hey, how do you do things? Right? Because I'm sure they wouldn't even give me the time of day. And I get it. That's the mentality that they grew up with. And that's the beauty, again, about EXP, that we share what we know. Why? Because the way that I do things is very different than how you do things. And whoever I attract, or vice versa, they're going to come to us because of who we are, right? We could be doing the exact same thing, but we project it differently. So we're attracting different people. There's enough business to go around for everyone. So I don't know what the fear is.
It's crazy.
And that's what I tell all agents. I'm like, there's enough for, to go around. I could do a video on YouTube, 5 reasons to do to New Brunswick. Another agent does it. She's going to attract who she attracts, and I'm going to attract who I attract, even though we're giving out pretty much the same message, right?
Right.
So yeah, again, shift that mindset.
And when you moved, like, did things really change for you when you switched to EXP? Because now, look, you're, last year in Vancouver, you were one of the keynote speakers on in front of a lot of agents, and this year you are
So I was invited to MC with another agent this year, which I'm excited about.
MC at EXP Con Canada, that's a huge,
That's awesome.
huge
Very
goal.
Huge.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So, and everything just from the people you were around at EXP and being taught by all these icon agents, like people who are actually doing the work we're being trained by. And now look at you,
Yeah.
right?
And
You're
came
walking
in
on a
with
stage.
You came in with a bang. You came in with a bang to EXP because you pretty well took the Social Agent Academy,
Yeah.
and like it was like one of your first YouTube videos, just like
Yeah, I did say one.
exploded,
Yeah. But again,
exploded, and
it's-
it's like the authenticity, and it's just the way that you present yourself. Right?
Present yourself,
It-
be real.
Yep.
Right?
What
Be
is this
yourself.
Social Agent Academy? Like, tell people what that is about a little bit.
What we do?
You go ahead, Jenny.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Social Agent Academy,
Yeah.
so it was led by Mike Sherrard, or is led by Mike Sherrard, and really it is the blueprint to whatever you want to focus on, whether it is YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whatever it is. And really, I learned, like I started following Mike Sherrard even before I got my license,
Me too,
right?
yeah.
So exactly, so I think coming into it with a mindset of like, I'm going to do this, I have it over to sync, makes a huge difference. So
Is
my
it
first,
easy?
it's not easy, because if it was easy, like what the
No,
Social
no.
Agent Academy.
No, I mean, is it easy? Not the Social Agent. I mean, is it easy to follow? Does it make it easy
Oh,
for you to understand?
Absolutely, it's step by step. You couldn't put it out there easier. What's hard is you following up with it and being consistent with it, right? I mean,
Right.
it doesn't get easier. Here it is. This is what you have to do. These are the next 12 videos you want to do on YouTube. Problem is implementing it and being consistent with it. That's the hard part.
And it's almost extra work, right? That's the thing, like that a lot of people don't realize. Like everything that we're doing here, like this is extra. Like we could just be sitting home right now waiting for the
Yeah.
phone to ring, or like
Absolutely.
dealing with our listings or clients and stuff too. But it's like this is extra stuff on top. But this is where, especially in competitive markets, where you shine and find ways to do things differently that make you unique as an agent. And this is all kind of like part of our value proposition here in the Wolfpack, is the stuff that we learn, and it's like it's just crazy. And that and just like you said, the consistency is really the key.
Love it, man. I love it. I love it all. I love you guys. I love the whole group. I love it all. It's awesome. Like, we're all under the same tree, but we're not. We have different branches, but we all just want to see each other grow. And I don't care what anyone says, you're not going to get the support here that you are anywhere else.
Yeah, and again, it's just, you are more successful when you are in a positive environment, right? When you're surrounded by people that one, help you, but you admire and you want to help back, right? So again, I think that makes a huge difference. When I started out, again, Remax was wonderful, they were lovely, but I wasn't getting the support that I needed, right?
You didn't even know probably what support you needed until
Well,
you
I
came
didn't,
here.
right? I was a
right?
brand new agent, right? So absolutely. And when I got here, the fact that, again, I was learning from top producers,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, this is different, and you want to help me,
Yeah,
little old
like,
me, you know what I
And
mean?
then,
Yeah.
and then now you're the top producer teaching
And
other
happy
agents
to
too.
help, absolutely.
Just like
Yeah.
that, which is incredible. So the YouTube thing, this is something that I just wanted to mention. Like, the reason I find it so easy for, like, or it's a lot easier for us to get on video, it was like once I went to Vegas and once we went to Vancouver and got around all the Wolfpack agents that are talking about doing videos all the time, that just makes it normal now. So what is looked at here as this, like, extra thing, or not many agents doing it here in like St. John or even New Brunswick, really, on the East Coast, there's not all that much content being put out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looked at as like, what are you doing? Like, it's just weird, right? But then once you're in a group where it's considered normal, it gets so much easier. It gets so much easier. And then you're jiving off of each other.
Weren't you
watching-
scared before? Like, I was terrified to post a video of myself.
Oh, yeah.
If you look back, I don't know about you guys, but my first videos, I looked like an absolute plug sitting there. Like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I look at them now and I'm like, I would never work with that guy. I was fake. It wasn't me. And now it's just, you just learn to be yourself. Not everyone's going to like me.
Yeah.
Right? And that's fine. People who, like you were saying earlier, Jenny, we could put the same video. You're going to get a lot, people go to you, you're going to get people come to me.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. There's no competition at all.
You are your own competition, I find.
We
right?
are.
So don't compare yourself. If there was anything that I had to say, stop comparing yourself to, you know, those people that you think are doing good, because now you want to be more like them, but you're not really finding what makes you happy. Exactly what you said, numbers are not it, right?
Yeah.
Success is different for everybody. Focus on that, which is huge, right? And I think we get a little bit of that here. We learn a bit of that here because we all find that we're being successful in our own ways. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to wrap it up right there. That's a good note to leave it on. Do you got anything else? Lenny, you got a big deal. You got a big deal. Lenny's he's the quiet guy with all the knowledge, and he just comes out of nowhere with these crazy rants, and we're like dialed in and we pay attention to him. So
The only thing I think I tell anybody, we were talking about EXP, and what attracted me to EXP was Jenny, because she was a top producer, still is. And the second I asked her for a meeting, she met me, and the vibe was great, and I felt I could really learn from her, and she was going to teach me. And all EXP outfits aren't really equal. Some are good, some are bad, some are very average. But the thing about the Wolfpack, which if anybody's looking at joining EXP, is jump on a call with us. You know, jump on a call and see what it's all about. But probably the biggest thing I've seen in 18 years is agents suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, there's one specifically I remember, and she needed a new start. She just needed a new vibe. And when she tried to leave the brokerage, they made her feel so bad, like peer pressure, grade 12 all over again. And she ended up staying. She submitted. And she kind of dialed out from that point on. She's still a realtor today, but it was absolutely disheartening to see. I remember talking to her and I said, you know, at the end of the day, you, like I said a while ago, you pay your own bills and you go where you feel you're going to be surrounded by people you want to be surrounded by. And again, if that's KW, fine. If it's EXP here, great. If it's Royal LePage, like, you know, if you wear a custom Italian 27-piece suit with $1,200 shoes, you're probably not sitting in the right room. But if you're a hardworking realtor that really wants to achieve and use tech and be surrounded by great leadership, this is the best place to be.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you don't even, if there's some agents that come over to EXP and don't explore the options of, like, say, our group. If you're a business person at all, and you have to explore it, at least, the very least, look into it. Maybe it's not for you, right? maybe it is exit, roll a page, Remax. It doesn't matter. But when you're thinking about switching, or you feel stuck, you really got to do your homework and make sure your sponsor is the right person that's going to help you and make you thrive. Because everybody's going to try to buy you. A lot of brokers buy the agents. I'll buy your signs. I'll buy your cards. Everybody's going to offer you the same thing, right? But if you want to really treat it like a business, I find here at EXP, you're literally running your own business. There's no one to like babysit. Now you're getting taught and you're getting everything you need and 100 times more. But I'm running my own business here. I don't want anybody else to buy my signs. If you can't afford to buy your signs, then you shouldn't be in the business. Bottom line,
Absolutely.
right? So if that's one thing that's making you go to a brokerage, then I don't know. Like, I mean, if you're brand new, I'll buy your signs. Doesn't like right? Get you going, but
Right, it's like realizing the long-term value of the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom that you can get from being around the right group is going to pay dividends, as opposed to going to somewhere that's buying your signs, that's paying for your office fees. Like, that's small chips.
office is the worst.
It's the long-term, how can you become the best version of yourself using the tools and the training that we all have, that have kind of helped us all gather here today.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
This was awesome. This was good. I hope you guys all like this. This was awesome.
I had a blast.
This is awesome. We have so much fun with this. I got to get back to St. John,
Right.
and Lenny's got a big deal he's got to go tend to. Jenny's got work to do. She always has work to do.
I
She's
gotta
an
go put a
icon
sold
agent.
sign. I gotta go put a sold
Nice.
A
sign.
sold sign.
Nice,
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
And Brandon's got a couple deals going on.
I just put a listing up with a really cool video. A really cool
I never watched
video.
that. I'm looking
You should
forward to
watch
watch
it.
that.
It's a quick one, but it's I this is how I want to do videos from now on. It's the way to
Nice.
do
I
it.
never watched it. I gotta watch
I
it.
It's the
know,
way to
yeah,
do it.
I'm gonna
I'll watch it
too.
tonight when I get home.
Yeah, so
If
Thanks,
it's-
guys. Thank you for having
Everybody,
us.
we all have YouTube channels, and this is where it's
yeah,
all
we'll
gonna
tag
be.
them in. We'll tag them in the description too.
If you like this, please hit that like. Suggest anything to us. I'm Evan, Brandon, Jenny, Lenny, part of the Wolfpack. And seriously, guys, we have a ball with this. If anyone wants to come on and chat with any one of us or anytime, or you want to book a call with Lenny or Jenny or Brandon or myself, we're here for you.
Or
Always.
all four of us at once.
Yes. We'll have a party.
That's fine.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right on. Cool.
right,
Awesome.
man.
Thank
Jenny,
you,
Lenny,
guys.
Thank you guys so much for making time for this.
Always.
It was wicked.
All
Thanks,
right.
guys.